what is the main cause of divorce?
maxaa keenaya furniinka?
wax badan keeni karo. It's a lot.
Yeah,
It's
trust. Number one, trust. Cheating.
Lack of communication.
Lack of
as well.
Lack of
communication.
communication. Yeah. Abuse. You know, physical, mental.
And sometimes people don't even have all those reasons. They just want to get divorced
Yeah,
nowadays.
they just grow out of each
Yeah,
other.
so-
They stop trying.
Mhm.
They just stop trying. They just
Yeah.
want to like, you know what? We tried. We tried. What's the point? Yeah, it's just like that. Yeah, we tried. Did you try everything? I mean, everything.
What is everything?
What is everything? Everything. Try everything.
Maalin walba waxa kuu soo kordhaya maaha.
Yeah. I mean, the fact is spending this guy or this girl for the rest of your life sometimes is scary. I mean, those of you who are married, you know that, right? Sometimes you'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm spending. You have your days, you know, where you feel like, I cannot believe I'm spending my life with this girl. They have the same thing too. They don't say it out loud.
Right,
You know,
right,
we might say it out loud, but they don't
Right.
say it out loud. You're like, oh my God,
I cannot stand that.
I cannot stand that. Oh my God, you know.
That's actually one of the biggest reason American men don't want to get married.
Yeah.
It's the rest of their life. It's like
And if
one
they get married,
person.
they cheat.
Yeah, they're
And
like,
they cheat.
yeah,
they
but they're
cheat,
like
they
that.
do
That
girlfriend.
idea is why they run away the day before. You know, they said averagely 40% of Americans within few months or within days or weeks of the wedding, they have what is that called? Cold turkey? Is it?
Cold
No.
feet.
Cold
Cold
feet.
feet.
Thank you, cold turkey. Cold feet. They have that because that's the thing that scares them the most. It's not the divorce, but it's like forever with one person.
It's not only American, all men.
But at least with Muslim couples,
They hide.
that's the only way to consummate the marriage. So they're like,
I know. They're
I don't care
Do
if it's forever. Let me just jump. You know. So yeah, that's how they look at it. But for them, they're like, I get it everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, do I really
Yeah,
want to
wanted this?
signal to this person alone?
Yeah,
I don't know. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Your identity is so beautiful, you know. It's like you look forward to your wedding.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
You're like, just I just want it to happen.
To happen. Yeah.
I think the main cause of divorce is infidelity.
Infidelity. Yeah.
Infidelity of any
You
kind.
cannot forgive that person. I mean, even if you forgive, let's say you forgive. I mean,
You won't see
Still-
them the same.
I know. Yeah, you'd be like, it still nags you back in your head. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe this guy slept with another woman. You know.
Yeah.
that's
And
like-
nowadays it's so easy though.
Yeah,
Again, going back to
absolutely.
social media.
Right.
You know, guys like in inappropriate pictures and all that. It all falls into the same.
Category.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
know, I've seen so many people say, "Oh my, I've seen this guy like that one, that picture," and it was only just a picture, but
Yeah.
we all know inside we want to look at something.
Right. Oh my
Do
God.
you know what I mean?
I feel like with not just social media, but the way the world is today,
going
not
through.
just in America, but
Everywhere.
everywhere.
Mhm.
I feel like both sexes have the opportunity to upgrade at
Yeah.
any second.
That's the
The opportunity is always
It's
there.
right there.
It's
Very
always there.
temptation. Temptations are everywhere.
I think my opinion is committing zina is 100 times easier than
It's in here.
getting married.
Yeah. You don't even have to touch the women. It's right here.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
But
can
what I'm
just
saying
Google
is
it.
just if you were to get married, you need the support of the community. You want to do the nikah. That doing it, the thought of it, process is so long for some men that it is easier for them to just never even commit.
Yeah.
So when they do get married, the process of them expanding their horizons is easier on them than it is to make marriage work.
Yeah.
Because marriage requires, like you said, strength, trust, respect, love, compassion, friendship, building a home, paying the bill every day. You know, that bill never stops. You know, it's the end of the month, no matter what you're going through.
And
If
then
you're
you have the
depressed,
kids.
stressed, yeah.
You know, as kids itself are stressed. You know, because when you have kids, that let alone it's work. You know, kids get sick. Kids need this. Kids need that. Both of you got trapped. You can't just leave the house like you normally do. You can't just say, tonight let's go out for dinner. You have to have a sitter. You know, you can't just, you know, days that you have to call work and, you know, you can't work because your kids get sick. So the kids are there. And then you still have to figure it out. How can I maintain this relationship? How can I keep this relationship? How can I not get bored this marriage? How can I keep this marriage interested.
Yeah, I
So
think
the-
sometimes women lose themselves in that as well.
They lose with the
Yeah,
kids, you know, they forget
Yes.
themselves like, oh, I'm married, you know, like, maxaan tara hadeertaani to
Yeah.
ilmaha ii baahan,
Yeah.
and then we forget ourselves. Raggana waxa waaye, they're different from us.
Yeah.
You know, their feelings are not like our
Yeah.
feelings.
Yeah.
Ours, we can go without it like years, but men, they cannot.
Yeah.
Yeah, maxaa la dhahay nin nin wuxuu jecel yahay naag, I don't know, I could be wrong
Yeah.
this, 5 wiil u dhashay wuxuu ka jecel yahay naag oo farahiisa maqleleefamiya ma garanayo, oo cunto u samayso, oo nadiifsan, oo qurux badan, oo maxaa la wax u diyaariso, qadadiisa u diyaariso, gogoshiisa u fidiso, oo aydan diyaar isaga dhigto, ayuu ka jecel yahay dan naag 5 wiil u dhashay.
Yeah,
He will walk away from that to that woman.
absolutely.
And I have seen it in life
Yeah.
too.
Even
The
in
lady-
polygamy marriages, they tend to love the younger ones, the ones that entered the marriage later on
Yeah.
versus than the ones that are older who's been through it, because she tends to be the mother. She's the one that takes care of the family, the society, and all that stuff. But here's this little cutie with the nice dira, you know, that caters to him.
Yeah, very
you know?
naive.
Yeah, very naive. you
Yeah.
know? Yeah, and she just likes that gold, you know.
Yeah.
But like my friend said yesterday, she said men like hoes and sheikhs in the same house.
Say that again. I
She
like
said
that.
she likes men like hoes and sheikhs in the same house.
Yeah.
And I said, what the heck do you mean by that? It took me for a second. I'm like, I'm not a hoe. She said, well, they want you like, it's like the saying. She said, the rap music says, I want you to be a lady on the street and a freak on the sheets. You know, does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
But I didn't understand it for a second, but I was like, okay.
No, it does make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they want the girl that covers up,
Yeah.
but then they
Modest.
also want like that Instagram shot in the house.
Yes.
Yeah,
There you go.
I get
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And there's other aspect of divorce where people don't talk about.
No.
Taking care of yourself, taking
Yeah.
care of your home, taking care of cooking in your home, and maintaining every lifestyle and every aspect, and not forgetting each other, you know.
No.
It's very important to do that. That's why both men and women are starting to look outside now.
Of course.
It's not that they're not like, they don't feel like they can't get that from the person,
It's not just
but
that.
it's not available. It's not
That's not way,
happening.
yeah.
Right, yeah. So
ninka ragga ah wuxuu jecel yahay naag inuu fiirsado, like, you know, gabadha oo, you know, dress up like very revealing in
Yeah.
tight dress, no hijab. They like to watch that. They want to chase that woman. But at the end of the day, this is according to Somali.
yeah.
Waxay rabaan naagta oo xijaabanayso oo family fiican ka timaaday inay guursadaan oo masaakiinta ah. The
But she can
naive,
do
the
both
young.
though. Islamically, if you have studied Islam and you've studied the Hadith, we are the only religion on the face of this earth where both men and women are strictly ordered to keep up certain things in the marriage.
Yes.
You know, no other marriage. In the Catholic
Appearances.
Church, they never used to even talk about
No.
sex. But Islam, from day one of the things they teach you is to beautify yourselves. Just because you're covered doesn't mean you
Both-
should
it goes
have
both
lice in
ways.
your head. You know what I mean? Color that head. All those beautifications and the washing of certain parts came, in fact, from the Arab Peninsula. It never even existed in European if you study the history of it. So I think the way men are requesting their women to be is not far from the Sunnah and the Quran, technically speaking, you know. I don't know about you. I wouldn't want a man who doesn't brush his teeth, does not take care of himself. I don't care how much you love me and how much dira you buy me. You need to be clean. You need to take care of
You need to
yourself.
smell good.
Thank you. It's very, very important, you know.
Cleanliness is half of your thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. Cleanliness is half your iman. Yeah.
Maintaining your body.
Not
Not
only
your
you,
body.
also the kids as well.
The kids
So,
as well, yeah.
clean
Well,
them.
right, this time when we talk about women,
Yeah.
I mean men, period. I mean, yes.
Mayday wuxuu u baahan yahay guri nadiif ah, qofkii oo nadiif ah, caruurtii oo nadiif ah, maaha caaga caanaha meesha ku tuuran, baatigiisa ka jeexan,
waxa ugu jira baatigii.
baatigii maanta dhan jikada lagu
Jikada
jiray.
ku jirtay, adaa sariirta ku agseexanaysaa.
See, I would never
It's
do
not
that
going
to
to
my
do that.
girlfriend who's like coming to visit
Exactly.
me. Why would I do that for my husband who I
Listen,
share a bed with?
I would even do that to my own self.
Thank you.
In the house, yeah.
It's like I heard somebody say once, as Muslims we're always praying, so we have to be clean.
Thank you.
There's no way you cannot be clean and then stand in front of your Lord and pray. And then your home is the place where you are praying, a
Yeah.
place of worship. It cannot be dirty. So
But then I've seen some sisters, Sheekh Yasir Qadi
salaada xataa waxaa ku haboon tahay dharka oo
cleanka
inuu yahay ma aha midka maanta dhan bleachka mashqasha kusoo dhaqaysa jikada kusoo dhaqaysa you have to have a
separate garment. You have to make it smell look nice. Unsiga ku shit geedka ku dukanaysa salaada meesha dhiganaysa aliga nadiif ka dhig.
I remember it was when it was around Maghrib time. Growing up, I never saw women outside of the home. Growing up when it was Maghrib time. And let's say, back home, you used to light the fire by charcoal. So if your charcoal goes off, you go to the person who has it. I would remember at Maghrib time, I would go to people's houses, Somali women's houses. I swear, the dira and the unsi that would come from the house. And I just, as a young kid, I didn't understand what was happening, you know what I mean? What was happening. Now those women dress like that for weddings, but are like in
not for their houses.
Batis in their home.
With their husbands.
Yeah, so there's this argument even within the Desi community where they say, where is my bride? I miss my bride. There's poetry. Millions of dollars spent on poetry on both sexes, like you used to take care of yourself, so I think taking care of yourself.
$50 to fix her face when she's going to wedding for a couple of hours. But with her husband, she wouldn't even put an eyeliner. For real. Let's talk about that too. You go to a wedding for it. But which actually you get more ajr
and reward.
To wear it in front of your husband.
Yes.
Then to wear it from outside, where you get every it's like you have a zinna with it.
Yes.
But then you would even put a perfume in your own bedroom.
Absolutely.
With your husband.
Thank you. There was a joke, Nico Somali, I was dropping some woman off at a wedding. He's a thought. But he said something that really stuck with me. It was years ago. He said, oi. I was like, ew. I was disgusted. But when I went home, I was like, whoa, he's smart. He's telling the truth. I hope to take heed from that. So it's just very important to do that.
We were dukaan dahab aan ku jirnay, friend of mine and she asked me to help her to go buy dahab inta siyaara dhexdeeda. Bas marka meesha dahabkaan ku jiray laba nin ku jireen. Marka yarta xitrada xarwa wala dahab oo guri ku joog. Marka wiilaa soo booday wuxuu dhahay, what do you mean dahab guri ku joog? Dahab guriga aan ku joogaan rabaa oo isku qurxiyo. Wuxuu nin ma ku qabaha. Alla wuxuu dhahay waa duceysan tahay dahab ninkaaga u xiranaysaa. Annagana wuxuu dhahay naagii waxaan ka laanahay baatiga iska siib. oo maanta cajiinka aad ku qasaysay carruurta ku bedelaysay oo diaperka aad ku bedelaysay aan leenahay iska sii asarta kula soo seexanaysa adina dahwaad ka hadlaysaa war ninkaaga u duceysan yahay
ama maanta waa u careysnaa baatigan xunka ku jiifanaya wasaqda
exactly right yes speak the truth mama yes or when men don't have or when men don't have
close to me.
Why is it in the culture, if I go to Souk Somalida, there are no PJs for men. But in the Middle East, actually, there is khamisi logu talagala nimanka.
I was watching Dr. Oz, right? My favorite Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz said that 60% of women, they sleep with their PJs on in men. He said, you know what's the problem? He said that you guys are not having an intimacy. He said because you sleep with your clothes on. For real. He said you're supposed to sleep without your clothes when you're sleeping with your spouse. The sheets are only thing allowed, nothing else. I was like, oh my God. After 19 years of marriage, I've been sleeping with the PJ. Wrong!
Yeah. They did research on it. Actually, it's good for the it's good for the HP of the body. Yeah.
And then also
because it makes you seek that spouse, the warmth of the person.
Yeah. And then there's also, chemical that you release. Oxytocin. It's good for that.
Y'all know about oxytocin. Study that. Just saying.
I know, right?
What do couples or single people need to know about outgrowing each other?
labada qof isqabaan inay isnici doonaan ama inay kala xiisa dhici doonaan.
When it comes to outgrowing each other, avoid routine. Try to do things that spice up the marriage. I'm not just talking about traveling. I'm talking about watching a movie together. I'm talking about a weekend trip. I'm talking about not being in a very stagnant relationship for anything that you do, but also spicing up in the bedroom, you know. It's very important.
One time said, change the bedroom sheet.
Yes.
I was like, damn, bedroom sheet? What's that?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's that got to do with spicing up the marriage?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but you're right. You're absolutely right.
Just doing all of that, because I feel sometimes, especially the first 3-4 years, if you do the same thing over and over and over and over again, because I have seen a girl who's been married 10 years, she can't have her husband take her out for a week. Every time she brings that up, he says, why do we need a vacation for a week? Because for the last 10 years, they've not had a week away from the children.
10 years?
10 years.
No week.
No, a week away from the children, away from everything. Because we also grew up in a society where parents don't leave their children behind.
No.
Excuse me, I love you, my baby.
Yeah.
But this is my king, and I'm his queen, and I need to be alone with him. You know?
Exactly.
So just creating that, I think that's what frustrates young people, because the first 2 years, honey, you brought me flowers, you did this for me.
What happened?
Now, when you try to do that, I have to that, like as if it's taboo, you know? Like there's certain things I read about Prophet Muhammad ﷺ that he did, and I'm like, Ya Rab, this guy, you know what I mean? But if you bring that up to when I was talking to young people that were married, I went to a camping trip and I brought that up. They looked at me like I was sick.
Crazy,
You know, I'm talking about Prophet Muhammad taking showers with his wife.
Yes.
That's not something people even do that right now. You know,
the same glass where Aisha drank to her
right?
lips.
Flipping it. Exactly. That's romance. Outgrowing doesn't just happen one day.
In one plate instead of separate plates.
Absolutely.
I think also with outgrowing, start doing things that the other person likes too.
Yes.
Like
It gets you out
I
of your comfort
personally
zone.
hate the movies.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm not trying to spend $20 and sit there and get
Emma
cold.
should be a neighbor.
But my husband loves the movies.
Yeah.
So I would
Let's switch
maybe
husbands.
go, depending on the movie. But like start doing stuff that, you know, he likes. Like going fishing. I did that one time and I'm like,
Oh.
I did it.
You hang out together.
I did it. I like how you
Too.
paused. I don't like it. I'll be like, okay, now take the kids and see if she likes it, and then you know try what they like,
Right.
and then maybe that outgrowing will start getting out.
Absolutely. But you also do other things with your husband. You go and watch comedy shows with him. You travel alone with him without your daughter. You love your daughter, but you also make that time with your husband.
Just the two of you
Yeah,
guys.
and I think in the Somali community, because I stopped bringing that up. People have been married in my family for 30 years. I literally called them and said, "How have you thought about going to Hawaii for a week?" Did Al-Maghrib teach you this? I said, but I'm just saying, Prophet Muhammad used to chase his wife in the desert.
Yes.
I'm gonna need you to chase my sister-in-law. What's going on? You know? So they're like, you know, but yeah, outgrowing.
And also for البابكاس.
Yeah, I had one brother kick me out of his house as a joke. He said, okay, after 10 years you want me to take my wife when? So take me out. Because I suggested a burkini. They go to Maui and she goes swimming. I'm not swimming either. I don't even take her swimming to Lake Washington. I said, bro.
Nobody stays the same. You're not going to stay the same person. 10 years from now, you will look back and be like, oh my God, I was so stupid back then.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like your spouse needs to allow you to kind of like he needs to come to terms with the fact that you're not the same person he married in the beginning. Because a lot of times they'll say she changed or he changed.
Oh, he changed.
Yeah, and I don't know what's going on. But this person, like for example, I got married when I was young. I'm definitely not the same person I was when I was 19. Do you know what I mean? So it's like he understands that sometimes I was very immature. Now I'm kind of mature, I guess. But the whole outgrowing thing does happen.
It does.
Sometimes, you know, you could have 5 kids and be like, you know what, I want to go back to school.
Yeah.
And then the guy might be like, okay, you know what, I support you because you support him with the things that he wants to do.
Yes.
Yeah, that's still growing. But then there might be some people that be like, I want to go back to school, and the guy's like, why? Who's at the school?
Why now?
What's going on?
Yeah, there's something going on. So you shouldn't question it as much. It's just part of life. Everybody, you know, things change, and so yeah.
When both couples remind each other, you know, that why did we get married first place? You know, going back to the first day that we met. I always wanted to hear that day, by the way. And, you know, reminding each other, you know, like the love both of you have for Allah. That is one thing I always go back to. You know what? Like when two people love each other, they love Allah first, like completely. When I say love, it's not like the basic love. Like always remind each other, you know, Allah. And then they love, it becomes stronger. That doesn't come overnight. You have to build. But before building, there is, okay, this guy, you don't know him. She doesn't know you. You guys didn't even come from the same tribe or from the same, you know, nation. And then you met together for Allah's sake, because you're supposed to complete your deen. But what makes both people to stay together sometimes is when they realize how much they love Allah, how much they love each other, how much they love their families, how much they're willing to put work into this marriage. Because marriage is difficult. There are days you wake up, you're like, why the hell I married this guy? I mean, you know, it's like, why? I mean, you know, and there are days you don't even want to see this guy's face. You're like, oh my God, I don't want to even text, I don't want to even see his text message, you know, just leave me alone. There are those days, you know, and he feels the same way too. It's vice versa. But then at the end of the day, you just have to come to a common ground. You know, like, why are we married? Why are we fighting?
How long should one wait for the other person to catch up?
qofka ma sugi karaa meequu sugi karaa meequu sugi karaa inta qofka kaleeta asi ka soo gaarsanaya meeshuu joogo. I know a friend of mine. I met her when she got divorced, and they have a child together with the brother, and I met the brother at the same time. When I met him, I couldn't believe it. I was like, you were married to that guy? And I asked her what happened in the marriage, and she said, we're still friends. She said it's just that he grew up to become a religious person. She said we used to go to clubs together before he got married. We used to do a lot of things together, but she said he became, you know, very religious person, and she said he tried, I'm not there yet. And for that reason, she said we decide to, you know, to go our separate ways. And it happens this a lot to couples, you know, where like both couples, the marriage starts like really kind of like fun, jazzy, this and that, and then all of a sudden this guy who used to sleep on the jazz music every night, or Marvin Gaye, you know, he listens to lectures, and she still wants that romantic music theme, you know, or whatever, or
that's gotta be hard.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard, you know, and it's very difficult. But I see it a lot, you know, where either one person goes out, you know, and then the other person kind of is stuck there, and the marriage kind of
slows down.
Yeah, it falls apart.
But do you think because of that they should end it? Because this also goes back to the whole hijab thing. You know, I've seen some brothers.
Oh, by the way, and she refused to wear hijab.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, you married her without a hijab. Then why do you need to force her? Because you changed. Alhamdulillah, good, bravo for you to change. But isn't marriage about allowing that person to also be who they need to be? Because how do you know that maybe her not wearing hijab with you is better than her now being with, let's say, someone who's not even a Muslim? Because this usually happens where they become like, you didn't accept me, I wasn't Muslim enough for you, so now let me go and find somebody who's not a Muslim but loves everything about my moral, the way I live. Because you know, that does happen to people. I think I can't speak for old people, but in the older generations, if the man continued to do jatka, as long as he was always a good father, a good husband,
good provider.
But I feel like with this new generation, if the other person goes a certain way, they always feel like it's an impact of you, of who you should be.
And Islam also teaches us patience.
Patience, right? Do you still love that person? Is the person good to you? Do you still, are they there with you the way you've always been together, physically, sexually, mentally? If those values exist, then why should we end the marriage because I'm not wearing a hijab and you're growing a big beard? I think also, let me flip the script. If the man if the woman becomes more religious than the man, the marriage always sort of stays, and it's expected. You know, just be patient. But when he becomes religious, excuse me, the wedding you came to, I wasn't wearing hijab, and the day before I wasn't, and the day after I wasn't. So you need to be patient, you know. So women are expected to always be patient, not the man. So I hate that.
I agree.
It depends. It depends because you may be moving at a fast rate. You can't expect him to just change like that, you know.
Takes time.
But then at the same time, you don't want to wait too long to the point where now this person is affecting your growth because you feel like you can't move on with everything you're trying to do because this person, like you can't. How do I say this? Like, for example, you have dreams for yourself, right? And you're trying to go after all the dreams and everything, but you can't belittle them or diminish them for somebody else. You need to believe in yourself enough to go after what you want. And if the other person, as long as it's halal, by the way, so if the other person is on board with, should be on board if it's not something haram, you know, and if they've got their reasons sometimes for not, you know, supporting you with that, then maybe they have. Maybe listen to them, see what they have to say about what you're trying to do, and you know when things are an excuse and when things are for real. And based on that, you can decide, like, is this person... That's how support comes.
Is this person worth it?
Because, once this person, you ask them, okay, so, like, what's wrong with what I'm trying to do? And they'll tell you, I think this and this and this. And it's actual facts. And then sometimes it's just excuses, you know the difference between support and just, I'm there for you by words of choice, do you know what I mean? So, I feel like, wait, give it some time, and if you feel like now you have to stop what you're trying to accomplish for somebody else, I don't think you should do that.
Why do some men remarry and start all over with new families, leaving the other behind?
ragga qaarkood maxay u guursadaan naag cusub ee kasoo tagaan familkoodii hore ilmahoodii iyo naagtii soo furay remarried start all over again but forget the whole family never existed
because men don't have the baggage of the children. They don't have no baggage whatsoever. Everything is left to the mom. So
is markay hooyada u daadiyaan ilmaha ay dhahaan I'm done, I'm out, shaatigaygan qaadanaa ilmaha adaa korinaysid and I'm out. What makes you think that he's going to stay that marriage, the other marriage? He's not going to do the same thing.
I have seen a lot of men who got divorced, whatever, and then they remarry. They become everything the first woman ever wanted.
Exactly.
And it actually hurts the first woman because it's like, I was with you when you were nothing. Exactly. Now that, mashallah, you've gotten the education, you've grown. I'm happy that you've grown. I'm glad that no other woman like me is going through what I went through. But why couldn't you put that effort in
Why
us?
didn't you give it to me?
That hurts.
If you want something, you'll put in the effort.
Yeah.
If you don't want it, you won't. And you can't force somebody to do something that they don't want to do. But you shouldn't beat yourself up about it.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Just
Hurts,
leave it around.
yeah.
Ninka hadduu ku jecel yahay, we will do whatever it takes to stay that marriage. Whatever it takes to make it work. Yeah.
hadii kalena waxaa waaye meela u diyaarsan
Because remember anaga we're patients because we're emotional. naagta xiriga wuxuu loogu dhiibi waa ilaahay ugu dhiibi waa there's reason. If xiriga anaga noo dhiibi lahaa maalinta 20 inaan gursan lahayn waan furi lahayn. Wallahi like when you cycle it up like you be nimba gursan lahayd nimba furi lahayd. There's reason why, because of our emotion. Ayaga wuxuu ilaahay ugu dhiibi xiriga inaan la fududeynin because how they are. Like nowadays waxaan arkaa ragii xiriga way fududeynayaan. The first gabadhii wiilka is soo dagaalaan their first fight waxaad maqlaysaa waa ku furay. Come on, relax. Like, I mean, this is your first fight.
ama isi ay dhaade hoowan dhahay
maxaa waxaad what is
that? Thank you.
ayda iga weydiisay ayda iga codsatay
Oh, I think the most romantic thing is a man who refuses to divorce you.
That doesn't mean that in a furti.
That doesn't mean
she thinks that tongue of hers, it's her power. Her tongue is her power.
Right.
Because whatever she says to you, she thinks she's hurting you. But she's not. She's hurting herself.
Yeah.
But the reason ilahay xiriga uu dhiibo waxba inay adkeeyaan. That's how it's supposed to be. you know, but nowadays they don't.
I know women in their 70s and they will tell you the most romantic thing their husband did the first 40 years of their marriage is him refusing divorce. And then he goes.
True.
And then while he's gone, she's thinking.
She misses him.
Not just missing, but she thinks about how she reacted, right? And then when he comes home, he sucks her out, like brings her stuff and buys her dira and gold. Those are things. And then he hugs her, kisses her. Those are things Somali men nowadays don't do because they are the man. You know, they are the man. But I think exactly the older generation have things that we could learn from.
Because you know why?
Yeah.
Who they used to take their advice
From their
is
parents.
the elders.
Yeah.
Now ninka marka istagaashan gabadha istagaalaan wuu baxay saaxiibkiisu taga ama fadhi ku daro fariisana wuxuu leeyahay mid yaa soo bursa caabo naagtaas ma u baahan tahay 20
why you tolerating her man?
Yep, let's go back home.
Yeah.
Inta leeyahay niyo
mid diyaarsan ay leeso single ah
gabdhaha ka badan aad buuxaan oo ka qurux badan maxaa ugu baahan tahay ayada. See?
In the olden generation was the opposite. What did I say? Sabar nagaani to why xogaa skill moy sabar gurigaada dhaqo. You know, there was always that. Yeah. Why do some women believe they shouldn't or can't remarry when they divorce?
hablaha badan waxay u diidayaan inay guursadaan marka la furo ka bacdi.
I think mainly it's out of fear. Like they just, what might that person say or what might that person think, or they might think a lot. I've heard before somebody say that they were scared to remarry because of what the ex-husband would say about her. You know, she went off and remarried because she wasn't loyal to me and blah blah blah, and she was doing this. And other times I feel like some women become so broken after a marriage that they feel like they're not worthy of anything anymore, so they'll just stay lonely and be whatever. Not that there's anything wrong with being yourself. Sometimes you need to have time to yourself to figure out who you are. Do you know what I mean? But like I do feel like sometimes they feel like they just don't deserve, they don't feel like that kind of love exists for them. Do you know what I mean?
nagaha qaarkood waxay dhahayaan ma rabi nin kale inuu ilmahayga soo dhex galo. Yeah. I don't know why, but that's what they say, you know, like I don't want nin kale inuu ilmahayga soo dhex galo.
ونعيبك ماشي واحد sometimes waxay fiiriyaan ninka hada uqdadaas ilmahanayda ama uqdadku beeramata ama sidoo uu loo jiigare doona waxyaalo badan ay fiiriyaan maslaxada oo guudadaan.
I feel like as the mom though, if you are bringing somebody in or you fear how that person is going to turn out, it's kind of in your power.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? You shouldn't let something you don't know take control of your life like that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
When is it unhealthy to stay married? When should you basically leave the marriage because it's so unhealthy? What about it being so unhealthy causes you to leave? I feel like if the man is having sex outside of marriage, that I could never tolerate. When there is a physical, an actual physical, I will never tolerate that. May Allah never test me with that. Or when a man is not making money for his family. Not bringing food on the table, because for me, my true definition of what it is to be a man is for you to be the maintainer and the sustainer of that family. I will support you if you're depressed. I will support you if you got laid off or there's something, like I will be there because that's what it is to take care of. But when you physically, mentally, psychologically are able to do it and you choose not to do it,
lazy.
For me, I couldn't even make love to you because you as a man are dead to me, you know? For me, that would be... And if there's khamr, I'll tolerate everything else, but that I cannot. I'll tolerate jad and cigar. May Allah not allow me to do that. Like, that's my top priority. But I will tolerate that over alcohol. But you're right. I mean, every woman is different, but alcohol is where I draw the line.
I have seen where God destroy a lot of my friends their marriage. I've seen it. Yeah. I've seen it, wallahi. Because this guy, he just sits there all day long with his friends. Yeah. Sometimes, I remember she would call me like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm it's 3 o'clock and I'm about to go to sleep and he's still not here. So and that time she's already ready to go to work or take the kids to Dixie or whatever. So that it's no for me. Nope.
So if there's a physical abuse in the relationship, that's no.
Yeah, physical abuse is no. Nin haduu gacan ku qaado, how
Ama
is it?
oo caynayo
Ula
kala
seexanaa
xun.
sariirtaada. Oo naagnimo aad ula seexanaysaa. Ama ku caynayo oo ku dhahayo magacyo xun. Sidee baad ula seexanaysaa? No.
Yeah, I also agree with all that. Whether it's physical, sexual, all that.
And they're sexual. I have seen a marriage where women left her husband. The man divorced because he was not able to be a man enough for her. In Islam, that
does allow you to be divorced.
You to seek divorce. Yeah.
But also
He
sexual
must
can
be
be
divorced.
rape in the marriage too.
Which we heard it before, you know.
So
Wow, I rarely think about that.
Yeah.
Is it, when you say that, I just want to clarify, is it because, let's say, she doesn't want to have it and he wants it, or is it
takes
force? Oh, hell no.
What's what?
I said wants it and takes it.
Yeah.
That's the same thing whether
Right.
you married or not.
Not,
Still,
yeah.
But I think within the Somali community, they kind of look down on that. They don't really believe in
No,
the
they
whole
don't.
rape
Yeah.
and marriage thing because I mean, in the religion, it says that a woman can't say no to her husband. So they can't. Somali
They
people
use
tend
that,
to bring a lot of religion into some things that
And
Only
just
when
an
it suits them.
interpretation.
they
Yeah.
don't-
Only when it
Yeah.
suits them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it does exist. You hear a lot of crazy stories.
I've also heard people use sex to punish each other in the marriage.
Keep it
where-
from it.
Yeah,
Withhold it from her or from him,
yeah.
or
Or demand it when they know damn well the person doesn't want to. Because if I'm pissed with you, I haven't talked to you in 3 days, don't be demanding it from me. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
I know.
But that's not love. I mean,
It's
truly,
not love, yeah.
may Allah put mercy in our marriages.
I
Because I
mean-
think if mercy lacks it, it's
Marriage is merciful. We have to be merciful to each other. You know, when there is a mercy, there's always a love. You know, you have to look each other's mercifulness. My name. Heblayo, maharabta. Abah, uncle Mahiraba.
Naya,
Naya,
Wariya.
Nagaya, women come here. Like, what do you want?
okay. Going off on what we talked about, when is it unhealthy to stay married? The second part of that question is, when is it too soon to divorce?
Goormaad divorce-ka warsan kartaa waqtiga ugu dhaqsaha badan
Yeah.
aad warsan kartid maxaa la dhahaa furniinka.
I think when it comes to marriage, if he abuses you physically one day after you get married, I don't care. You can leave. Some people will stay in something just because
to
it's
fix
too
it.
soon and try to fix
Or,
it.
or I think he's going to change.
Yeah,
Waa
you
isbedelaya
cannot
qofkaanito.
change a grown person. There's no way, unless it comes from them. You cannot do anything to change a person. But if the person physically abuses you, and even verbally, because words hurt, they stick with you. Because this person that, you know, verbally abused you is now telling you that they love you. And you're like,
That's
that
gotta
doesn't
be
make
confusing.
sense. What are
Yeah.
you, like, you know, you just called me out my name 2 days ago, but now you love me? Doesn't make any sense. So once you feel
Or
like,
you want to go bed with me.
yeah,
You just call me
Yeah.
derogatory names.
yeah. So when your mind, you know, like on the inside, when we think to ourselves and we have like conversations on the inside, once you start talking to yourself about this person, you need to go.
Something's not right.
You need to go. Because if it was healthy, you wouldn't do that.
Nope.
Right.
Yeah.
And also goes, it depends on the situation. You know, if it's physical, like you said, I think about a week ago, we have a group in our family, we have WhatsApp group, and I shared a video about,
Same here too.
yeah, we have a video, I shared a video where the guy, she was sarcastically joking with him, she's trying to give him the cake.
Oh yeah, I've seen
Yeah,
Oh, I
that.
saw that
and
video.
it's multiple. It's not just one video. I dug it and I found like 8 videos that we know of, you know. The saddest part is they went home, some of them went home with that man. Allah already just answered your istikhara in the best way possible.
From
You know, yeah.
first
Literally
night.
in front of all the people.
In front of everybody. And now you have people's support because her brothers were coming, like they were just about to attack the guy.
Yeah.
So I feel like sometimes Allah warns us over and over and over and over
But we
and we
ignore
don't
it.
listen. don't listen. We're such
We ignore
ordinary
it.
creatures.
Or you see the signs, right? Like she was saying earlier.
Yeah.
Like you know when your husband is doing something wrong.
Yeah.
You feel it spiritually.
Absolutely.
Even if his body language
It's not
can tell
telling
you something is not right.
Yeah.
But we tend to, as a woman, ignore
Avoid
it because
until it's too late.
Yes, we wanted a happy place because we avoid that. We wanted a happy place.
Absolutely.
It doesn't exist.
It does not. This question is all about timing. If the person who's working, that you've known who's worked all their life, the last 3 months is not able to work, or there's something stopping that person, then you would delay the divorce. But if all of a sudden he's having sex outside of marriage, that is as soon as you find out. May Allah protect us from sexual diseases. Why is divorce such an uncomfortable topic?
maxaa loo nabcan yahay in laga hadlo furniinka?
I don't think it's an uncomfortable topic, but people make it out to be because it's how they, because everyone feels differently about certain things, do you know what I mean? And like in the Somali community, obviously everything's woman's fault. But so, you know,
Cheers.
I think it's uncomfortable depending on who you gotta approach after you made that decision. Like, I want to get a divorce, then you have to go to the head of the household or the head of the family, and that's uncomfortable. Because you're like, yo, I'm about to bring this huge thing to this person. How do I explain it in a way that, you know, they don't come back to me and be like, well, did you try everything? Then you start to get angry because it's like, I came to you at the last resort. I didn't come to you in the beginning. So I think that's what makes it uncomfortable, the feedback that you get when you finally reach that point.
And also, you know, that's what I said earlier, you know, instead of just doing like the last resort, you know, like communicate ahead of time. Find that one person you trust in the family, whether it's a family member or your best friend, somebody who you can confide with. Because sometimes waxa maskaxdaada ku jira qofka kale maskaxdiisa ku jira magtahay. It's uncomfortable also because maxay dhahan you know, because divorce is permissible, but then Allah also dislike.
He hates it the most.
He hates it the most. Shaitan likes it. You know, let's be frank. Yeah, Shaitan's greatest accomplishment at the end of the day is to separate man from his wife.
Divorce, just like anything else in your life, you go to school, you do what you need to do, you don't get your diploma, or there's that failure of something. People see it as a failure. Not the people that are going through it, because they have gotten to the decision to, they know what they're doing, you know. But like the family and everybody, they just want things to hold hands and sing kumbaya forever. But it's uncomfortable because you wait your whole life to be married, and the person you married changed up on you, and now because you've been through what you went through, you deserve the support of your family. And then now it's about your family and all that stuff. We come from a society, a religion, a people where whatever I do is not just about me. You know, it affects everybody around me. You know,
the culture, the religion,
absolutely,
the community, everybody's like in.
Community,
absolutely, and I'm speaking.
Stop thinking like that.
I know.
Stop thinking about everybody.
But we are in a way a unit, because I was the first person in my family to go away for college. Not to go to college, but to go away for college. And what really shocked me the most were the most highly educated people in my family who didn't support me. I'm talking about people who went to university in my family were like, what, you can't find university in America, in Seattle? I was like, I did apply. I haven't heard back. I got applied over there and they accepted me and are willing to give me $3,000 each quarter to pay. Free. I had to lie to them that I got accepted to optometry school for them to even entertain the idea of me going, you know? So I think sometimes going and doing something that everybody is not normed to harms them. They take it personal. It's like, you don't pay my bills, so shut up. You know what I mean? You've never offered to pay my cell phone ever. So why does this matter to you? It got to a point you're moving for a man. So same thing with divorce. it's sometimes uncomfortable because of that. But I think if you know who the people who are divorcing are, and going back to letting people know every step of this situation, it's easier for them to, because
not the whole
sometimes
world, not Facebook, not
sure, no social media.
I see some sisters coming in there and saying whatever their husband say in there. I'm like, why does the world have to need to know?
That's between you and him.
That's between you and him.
Absolutely.
Even though there's a divorce, but there still have to be a
limit. You have to, respect. There's a line that always you cannot cross.
How does one's life change after divorce?
siduu isku bedeli karaa qofka kale noloshiisa markay kala tagaan.
I think life after divorce, it's
like a long lesson.
Yeah, and it's the best lesson because you get to rediscover yourself, and then when you're out of it and you grow, you sit back and be like, yo, like I went through a lot, but I'm here and I'm doing things I would have never done in my life before, or I thought I couldn't do because I felt like something was holding me back. So, I mean, it's hard when you get out of it because, especially with a kid, then you have to do everything yourself. Even if you have family, that kid comes home to you. You know, when they're sick, all that, you have to call off of work. That's money that you're missing. So you have to be doing all this stuff. But eventually, once the routine comes in, once you self-discover, once you self-love, it's way better. Yeah, you get out way better than what you had before.
And you're happier. If the person is happier, those even around you are able to be there for you. You know,
and can tell too.
Because hooyada hadday happy tahay oo qanacsan tahay caruurtana way u fiican tahay. Haddaa laakiin adigiiba oobo miserable tahay, it affects the whole, almost the whole society, you know. I mean, you feel like you're down, you know. How can you might take on the kids. They're innocent, but at the same time, it's not you, you know. It's just the emotional, the frustration that you're going through that's affecting the whole family.
I saw a lot of women who loved their marriage, wanted to make it work, but they got divorced. They had to pick up the pieces, and now, mashallah, they're like, I'm so proud of them. They have like AA, some of them even are working, having their PhDs. Some of them are running their own non-profit organizations. You know, some of them have a business, traveling. Some of them are making 6 figures plus because of the guy was not in their life. And he wanted to come back, and they were like, no, the reason we left is still there, so we're not going there. Move on.
I sometimes feel after a divorce, let me speak from the men's perspective. A lot of times they're used to a certain routine. You know, they're used to coming home, playing with their children, whatever. It puts a void in their life. It makes them re-question everything they have ever done. It's hard, but also it causes them to say, okay, for the first time in my life, what can I do for myself? What can I do for my children? And I feel like sometimes that causes your family and society to be there for you, to support you, to get your drive. I knew some sisters who were emotionally abused where they were not driving, and all of a sudden they're able to drive. They're able to work. They're able to, and I have seen Wallah Wilko, we went to high school together. We were in middle school, he was very unhappy. But in high school, by then his mom has been divorced 4 years. He was so happy, and we were like, what happened to you, dude? He said, my mom is happy. She drives. She goes to work. She does. I see her happy. She's no longer miserable. She would wipe the tears so that they wouldn't catch her, you know? Sometimes he'll knock on the door very hard after school so she knows he's coming in. All of these things were things that he shared with me years after we graduated from college. But I think sometimes divorce allows you to spread your wings, you know, be the person you need to be.
Like you say, Allah sent it for a reason. It's relief. Not to make you miserable.
If society doesn't make it difficult.
Society is what makes it difficult.
Absolutely.
Not the religion.
Yes.
Because Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam wuu ka guuray, ma ogtahay Taif wuu ka tagay, you know, Mecca wuu ka guuray, meesha ku dhibaatootid waa inaad ka tagtaa.
Right.
You just have to trust yourself, your instinct. When you make that decision, you have to, trust your instinct that you can survive.
I myself, I've changed in the last couple of years, when I see someone in my family divorce, I think I tend to be there for them more.
Yeah.
Because it just lets me know that I, as a sister or an aunt or whatever, that I need to be there for that person.
Yeah, you have to.
Emotionally spending time with that person and creating a really good relationship with them, you know. And sometimes it's just not knowing what the person went through before, which makes you feel like guilt. It makes you the guiltiest person, because you're like, I could have been there for you.
Yeah.
You didn't allow me in there, you know.
That's where counseling comes in. You know, I always tell women too, like even after divorce, go see counseling. If you don't trust somebody like you, because sometimes there's things that you went through and you wanted to talk it out. You know, you want to say it. You want to say it out loud.
Right.
Because when you say it out loud and when you keep it inside, it's totally different.
Right.
I always encourage women, I say, go seek counsel, even if it's once a month.
Yes.
Go see somebody who you
Talk
can
to
just
someone.
everything and just leave it there, and then you feel 2 pounds lesser.
What advice would you give someone going through it right now?
maxaad kula talin lahayd qof oo hadeertaan la furay
Or la furaayo.
ama la furaayo
يعني كل أنا أهم waxaan dhihi lahay in counseling,
Hang in
marriage,
there, yes.
marriage support,
Seek some help.
seek some help. You guys can be, go together some.
But he's willing to, or she's willing to want it though. If 2 people wanted to make it work, I believe they can make it work. I mean, you know, like look for help, support. Yeah, either do we want to make it work? Do we want to solve our problems? Let's go seek help. You know, but if any unravel, you know, like if I make an appointment with counselor and he's like, oh, I'm not gonna see Imam. Nope, hell no, I'm not gonna see him. That means he doesn't want to work it out. So are you gonna go see Imam by yourself? Yeah.
I would say lean on the people that love you, you know, because sometimes you can't do it alone. Like, you know, a minute ago you said, at the end of the day, you go home to yourself and you're the one taking care of that child. I had a friend go through that, and, you know, she became a widow. And for me, the way I was there for her was knocking on that door with that fake champagne, you know, and just being there for that person, being in their life to a point where they're like, go home, you know, leave me alone, because they needed that. And at that moment, I was just doing that just because I love the person. But years later, it made them who they are today.
Yeah.
I think we, especially as women, need to be there for each other, because I feel like the world can sometimes be against us, and we need to support each other. I've seen some people, when somebody's going through hardship, they're happy, they're rejoicing. Allah protect us from our enemies.
They're not happy with their own life.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly, like she deserved it. Just being there for that person, that's what I would say to them, and letting them know that they're not alone. If you're going through that, you're not alone. But you just have to look those people around you, and I would say go to a person who's been through it.
Yes. Talk to them.
Yeah, like if I had a question about interviews, I went to people who did interviews. If I had questions about wearing the hijab, I went to people who were wearing the hijab. Just go to a person who is going through that, and they might give you something. They know things that you don't have access to, and they're able to help you. And you might be giving them the opportunity to help you, giving that person the opportunity to say, "Hoy, I have skills. Let me share that with you." So.
لكن هذا مرة واحد أسبوع اللي سدواتهم كوكين كرامات اللي أهم كوس وحصل هذا الله ذاك يكون مقلن الله هو يكاشيكين أنت أسكت هذا more you putting yourself down and harming yourself at the same time.
Yes.
Next time, you know, you're talking to yourself.
Yeah,
exactly. Yes, exactly. And when you're going through the divorce, if you're seeking divorce or wanting a divorce, ask yourself why you're doing it. Be content in your decision. Don't rush to it, and don't rush away from it. Like if there's physical, don't delay it. If there's a physical for you and your children, and emotional abuse, get away from it. Don't try to scatter around and find a way, you know. So sometimes we'll see somebody for 3 years, they had divorce in their mind. They stay in the marriage. The guy is beating her up. She's seeking counseling at the masjid.
Yeah, I know.
put yourself outside of the situation first. You have to protect yourself, you know. Yeah, so what's the best way to share kids co-parenting? سأوفي عن إلمها إنا أكل قيب ستين.
Co-parenting is the best.
هدي اسفهمان واي.
هدي اسفهمان. Yes.
لكن هدي اللي اسفهمان واي. لكن ما كل اسفهمان وعرفتي.
When there is abuse though present, physical abuse present and mental abuse present, I think the parent who is doing it, should not get custody of the children.
أما هنقطناك أما هنقطنينك.
I think in that type of situation, then you would have to bring the court.
You have to bring the court. You have to bring the court. You have to have a supervised visits with that other parent.
تحسنا أذي كوفي عنده عروتنا وقوفي
Yes,
عنده.
protecting them and protecting yourself and protecting him or her. It goes both ways.
I have a friend who she's not a Muslim. She lives in an apartment. She has 3 kids with her ex-husband. They didn't want the kids' school zip code to change, so they continued to stay in the apartment, and he got an apartment upstairs, 2-bedroom upstairs, and she has 3-bedroom down there somewhere. And whenever the kids are going to school, because he works night shift, she's a nurse, she works during the day, they really are co-parenting together. They really are co-parenting together, and I am yet to see that in the Somali community.
I've seen it once.
Where, I'm talking about 4 or 5 days he's with the dad, and the dad can come into the house and all those things, and but for them it worked for them.
mar dhif waa laga helaa Soomaalida laakiin ma u badno qaar jirto oo saas isku fahmeen laakiin dadka magaalada oo si kale u fahmaan oo dhahan wali ninkan inaagta maxaa ka dhaxeeyo waayo oo asiga waa furay nin kale ba qabtaay waligeena muxuu ka sameynaya ama ayada maxay wali ninkan oo waxba ka dhaxeeyo camal wali ku furayaan dadkii qoftan she move on, he marry, she's married, but at the same time dadkii ayaa hadana wax ku waa meesha wax ka dhalinayo.
Once again, we're talking about how our community affects our home too.
I would say the best way to share kids is whatever is good for that child. If it's about the schooling system, if it's about Dinta, you know, I know a Moroccan guy who had an ex-wife who left the deen, you know, but alhamdulillah she didn't interfere with her children's deen. So they made an agreement every single summer when the school closes, he could take the child to Morocco. Whereas in the Christmas time, Christmas Day he has to be with the dad, but the day after Christmas he wanted the grandparents to be part of the child's life. He allowed them to do that. Whatever is best for that child, you know, that's got to be very
waxay ku xiran tahay horta labada shakhsi siday ayaga isku fahmaan siday ilmahaasi ku barbaari lahaayeen jidka wadada oo u wanaagsan oo tusi lahaayeen because at the end of the day that's their kids, you know, and they want to be a good sample so that they can carry on those kids.
I think also building a routine, because majority of the time the kid is going to be with the mom, but the dad shouldn't expect to call a day before, be like, yeah, I want to see my kid. Well, I have plans with this kid. You should have called, you know, and don't take it so like be offended by it, like you're being held back from this kid. Know that, you know, this kid has a life, this kid has a routine, and that there's things that need to be followed, just like when you were in the house. It doesn't change just because you left the house. So I think having that type of understanding.
Why is there so much negativity around child support?
Maxay dadka u neceb yihiin marka laga hadlayo child support?
What makes me pissed off is when the man remarries, the woman he's marrying now has an opinion about that money. Sweetheart, that's his child. That money is not going to me. That's your child. Your child doesn't become a bastard because you remarried. You know, meaning like if a man does, in our definition is, if a man is not financially supporting his child, you have made that child become a bastard because you feel like you're not obligated to take care of your child. Whether or not I have a lot of money or not, that's still your child. I don't care if I'm living in Mercer Island, you still need to take care of your child. And the most amazing thing about the American system is they still always understand that. You know, and Islamically, we understand that too, but there's somehow, some way, when we came to this country, we feel like when we leave the marriage, we leave the financial responsibility behind.
Behind with the mother.
Yeah. And that's not how it works. Islamically, you still have to take care of that child. Right. And then when they, yeah, or when that child hits 18, Islamically, when that daughter hits 18, she's still your responsibility unless she gets married. And these are things people don't learn. And I guess maybe the 30-minute khutbah on Friday is not enough for them to hear what they need to be doing. The negativity is they use that money to control the ex-wife, to not realizing you're harming your child. You know what I mean?
Men think that the woman is using the money on herself. Let me tell you something. I could use it on myself because let's say with child support, there's a date that's set, and the date is the 10th. My rent is due on the 1st, and then like the child's activity is due on the 9th. I already paid for that. So if your money comes on the 15th, I'm gonna do other stuff with that one because everything else is taken care of for your child. You know, so a lot of times they think, oh, look at her, she got a brand new bag, not because of your $50. You know, it's not because of you. It's because I worked for it and I can carry that bag. So them having this thing like, oh, she's using it. Where was the money when you were in the house?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Who was using it when you were in the house?
How does one fix the cracks in their marriage?
I don't think one person can fix the marriage by themselves. It doesn't work that way. I mean, you know, it's two people in the marriage. Why is the other person sitting back and you're fixing everything? It doesn't make any sense. And you can only fix a thing when the other person's willing to fix it as well. So
marriage is partnership. Yeah. Absolutely. It's with one hand washes the other hand washes. Yeah. It takes two to fix together, and it takes two willing to fix together. But be careful when you say dulqaad badan. Sometimes haduu sabarka qofka kale uusan ku ogeyn. Dhibaato waay. It's very difficult.
I think it's like taking it one day at a time. The best advice that I have for myself, I've never been married, is just to say, I love my family, love my siblings to death. I would die for them. But there are days I want to torture them. You know what I mean? So when it comes to marriage, I look at it that way too. So when you're having those moments, go to your happy place and think about all the good things this person has done for you and how much you have to be kind to them and all those things, and just taking it one day at a time. Be there for each other, love one another.
Spice up the marriage.
Spice up the marriage.
Spice it up.
Yes. Spice up the marriage, and don't hate each other for how we evolve and how we do the things that the other person should not be doing.
And respect one another.
Yes. Yeah. Grow with each other. If the person takes off the hijab, be patient.
Yes.
If the person is not praying all of a sudden, make dua for them. We don't kick our children outside because they no longer pray. We support them.
Exactly.
Extend that support, love, compassion for your spouse. Be there with them and grow with them.
I think just talking about it. Sometimes you need a break. Break meaning like get out the house, do what you want to do, whether it's like a drive, a walk, the mall, go shopping. That could just fix it. Because it might be something that's just you and you know your inner thoughts that be talking to you and talking back to you.
Just exaggerating.
Yes.
My voice
don't feel
exaggerates.
stuck. Sometimes you know we feel stuck and we don't move.
Yeah. I think so. Just getting a breather sometimes that fixes it too.
Separate self. See how things are at. That's why, you know, when divorce happen, they advise most sheikhs, they advise the man to stay in the house, to separate himself from his wife, from separate bedroom. but that 3 month عدو because there's a reason, because there's rahma there. If it's still that rahma is existed, there's a chance that they can go back together. But nowadays, when the guy and girl got divorced, oh, he's gonna pick up the phone, he's gonna tell the entire network he got divorced. I mean,
Like he's part of it.
Either the same cause she does the same thing. You know, like I got divorced. You know, you at least have to wait that 3 month udu,
Right.
because within that 3 months, things could change. That's
You
why
rarely
Allah
hear
give
that
us.
though.
Yeah.
I've noticed, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that the whole time.
Yeah.
In the last 10 years, I have not seen that.
Yeah, there's a reason why, you know, that in there's 3 months in pregnancy. Maybe that spirit of the moment when he was in the heat of the moment, or when you're in the heat of the moment, you said something that when you like maybe take maybe a couple of days or maybe a week or so, and you regret, you know, maybe you can come back to it without bringing anybody from outside. You can just basically separate yourselves within the house.
Within the house.
You don't have to tell nobody. You don't have to
Exactly.
make an announcement. You don't have to pick up the phone. You don't have to pack your stuff and leave the house. You can just basically stay at the house.
Coexist.
Coexist. Until
figure
that
out
3
what
months
you
is finished, and when that 3 months is finished, or before that 3 months is finished, seek, you know, support from outside. Don't publicize it yet, because you don't know. You guys must get married for a reason. So, you know, always say, when it comes to divorce, say, you know.
ama haddii
Hadda
xitaa la
dejini.
fududee haddana markii wax yar kadib
What's going
waa
on?
laga soo dhuumanaya
What's soo
Point, you
dhuumanaya?
know?
Here, I guess I burst so about 6 a.m. in the morning. Guriga so galay.
Yeah.
First of all, why did you left?
Right. Yeah, that's what we need to talk about. I don't think they know. They don't know that.
It's
that
because
they-
education.
Yeah.
We have to
Educating
educate them. You know, we have to make them educated, because that's how it is. You know, I've seen sisters say, "Oh no, he cannot stay in the house." No, he has the right to stay those 3 months. As a matter of fact, you can even stay that 3 months, and he can just take you out.
Exactly.
Because after that 3 months, he doesn't have to pay you anything except the children. But the 3 months, he still has to pay he still have to pay the mortgage or the rent or until everything. That's why he says 3 months. Take your time. See how detail is so beautiful.
Mashallah.
Even the non-Muslim, you know, like when you file divorce, you have to wait for 6 months for the
Separation.
judge to grant. 6 months. Sometimes it even drags a year.
Yeah.
Because
To
they
see
wanted
how
to
things-
see if things change.
Yeah.
And things can shift anytime.
Oh, yes. Anytime.
You know, anytime. So, I mean, we still have the rahmah in between them, remember? When couples fight, we tend to keep it from the family,
Yeah.
from friends. When we supposed to go back to the family. Friends, I always tell, keep it limited. There are those friends who will die for your marriage. You know, like, you call them, you say, "Oh my God, he just pissed me off, blah, 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 blah." They'll calm you down. They'll say, "Okay, calm down, Qadra. You know, I got this, you know, I'm coming over, you know, I will come over, you know, remind you, like, you know, you guys love each other." That's the kind of friends you want to talk to about it. But mostly I advise women, especially women, even a man, to tell your problems your mother,
Yeah.
if she's alive. If not, somebody who you trust in the family. And to seek help outside the family and friends, marriage counselor. I always encourage this, because divorce is permissible, but you have to exhaust all of these things.
Yeah.
Seek advice, seek help, all of these things.
Yeah.
Try to put your differences aside. What do you think?
laakiin waxay ku xiran tahay hooyada aa ada haysatid
Some mothers.
some mothers they can
May
ruin
Allah
it
protect them.
you know it
They will
depends of the
ruin. I
mother
told you not to marry him.
no ha it depends of the qofka wax u sheeganaysa ku xiran tahay mid kale waxa waa qofba hooyo different gooniya rays gareysay marka adi hadda hooyada fiican tahay waxa laga asigana hooyadiisna inay different tahay it depends of the matter of the two people marka situation ka saas ay tahay waxa yeelay de hooyada waxa laga yaabaa ninkan inay asalkiisaba ay rabin hooyada waxa laga yaabaa relationship koob inuu qasmay marka maadaama hadda markaan aad hooyo ninkii saan ugu sameey waa filanahay waxda soo qaad hadee ku dhahda ka waran marka inta wanaag la oo maxaa la dhahaa oo la fiiri lahay meel oo successful raxdiisa banaanka u dhigaa lagu dhahay hadda markaas camal maxaa sameynay marka marka it depends of the relationship as-aaska koogii meesha uu ka bilaabmay horta ay ku xiran tahay haddaa hooyo wanaagsan oo ahludiin ay tahay advice fiican ka helaysaa ay ku siinaysaa laakiin hooyada already ba hadday relationshipkiinaba ku qanacsaneen meeshaas waa ujeedaa xaaladaas uu wax kasoo bixi doono.
May Allah give us best friends who love us, who will protect our secrets, who want what's best for us, who want our marriages and our relationships with our siblings, with our parents, with our marriages to work. Alhamdulillah, I believe like I have those. But also understanding that there's few people in your family you can trust.
Yes.
And I always tell married people, go to the people that are rooting for your marriage.
Yes, definitely.
I don't care what the man is doing to you, what you're doing to him, what happened today. Go to the person who will tell you, Naya, listen, I know you're having a hard day, but boo boo, come, let's chill, Netflix and chill. That's your king. That's your queen. You need that person who constantly sends you back to your marriage because that's the person who wants to see you succeed. Alhamdulillah.
It could be like my mom. You will go to her like, okay, maanta umra soo dagaalnaa leedahay markaa xawlaha haye okay soo fariisanaysaa warkiya sheegaysaa cunta lagu siinaa waxayna qorax markay dhicirto waxa lagu dhahaa Jamila iwa umriya naagtiisa iga kaxeystay.
Exactly, right. She supports you being with your husband.
She's like, you need to go home.
Respects your
husband. You have your say. You're done.
Alhamdulillah.
That's how it used to be for them.
Exactly.
That's like the old days. Like naagti ninka markay is soo dagaalaan naagtu way imaanaysaa waxayda barbalankeeda sheeganaysaa ninkii la waca uu imaana ama labada family imaana waa la fariisanaa cunta la cunaa food always of course then waa laga hadlaa idinka xataa nila hadlaya ayaga hadlayaan idinka waxa nila dhahaa orod bax gurigiina aada.
Right.
Yeah. And it worked.
Absolutely. Thank you. This was a good topic.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yes, it's wonderful.